Deepak, wanted to begin the discussion with you. We have been hearing a lot of clamor for the last couple of weeks that there is that price hike which is impending as far as ethanol is concerned. It's been a long-standing ask. But what's your understanding as to when is it exactly likely to happen and what could be the quantum?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. See, it has been pending for quite a long time as we have repeatedly stated that the last ethanol price was revised 2 years back. And in spite of the FRP increase for last 2 years, there has been no correction on the ethanol price. So we have been talking to the government and we have also proposed a formula vis-a-vis what was done earlier. And only incidentally, yesterday during the ISMA conference on sugar and bioenergy, Honorable Minister Prahlad Joshi ji was here, including all senior government officials. And they have definitely indicated that the price hike and price correction, I would perhaps define it, at least for the ethanol price is happening. And maybe very soon we will have a good news on the ethanol correction price.
Deepak, as per your calculation that you have submitted to the government, how much of a price hike is that indicating?
So I don't know what is the government decision because that is something which we will know only when they publish it. But what ISMA has proposed based on the formula, and that is coming to around 73 for the cane juice and around 67 for the B heavy, and C to around 59, 60 rupees.
Those are the recommendations made by you. Let me get Prashant also into the conversation. Prashant, hi, thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. First up, if those quantum that Deepak talked about does go through, what will be the impact on some of the sugar companies and what's your pecking order within the space?
Yeah, so if there is a price hike commensurate to what Mr. Deepak is saying, that it will be quite positive for the sugar companies. Anyways, we are building in some sort of around 5% price increase for B heavy and cane juice ethanol. It's high time government does it. That will lead to increase in profitability. I think most of it will be added to EBITDA, and that is going to be positive for all the sugar stocks.
Any calculations as to what could be the EBITDA impact? How much can the EPS upgrades come by? Or is this something that you're factoring in already in your estimates?
We are factoring in 5% increase in price of B heavy and cane juice vis-a-vis last year or second last year, because last year there was no price increase. So if anything is there beyond that, then it will lead to some upgrade in earnings. Otherwise, we will have the estimate unchanged.
Deepak, a few days back there was this news that Bharatiya Kisan Union was asking for a higher price of sugarcane of around 450 rupees per quintal. What do you think would be the impact of the same, and do you think that such kind of a move could be taken by the government?
See, the FRP increase perhaps commensurate with the increase in the production, and I believe whenever they announce the price, they keep everything in factor. So I believe the hike which has already been announced this time before time, and this was actually February this year, of 340 has considered everything. And I believe in my view and in the industry's view, if at all, if you see all the agricultural commodities, I think the sugarcane farmer, perhaps is the best suited and they have the highest income compared to all other stable crops. So I believe the government will decide whatever is the best, and keeping into mind the cost of production, they will also have to keep in mind the ultimate consumer prices. So I think this is about creating a balance, and ultimately to make sure we are also always favoring that the farmer income should be ensured, that cane payment has to be made timely. So I believe this will consider everything. And for next year FRP, I think this is good enough. And in future, we will see how it turns out to be.
Sure, one has to wait and watch. But Deepak, just wanted to get a better sense from you as to what will be the final impact on the prices for the consumers. What do you expect a sustainable level of per kg sugar price to be in the markets for the next 6 months?
I believe today, if you see compared to the last year, during the same time when the festivals were there, This time the prices are slightly lower than the last year. This is perhaps because we have too much stock which we are carrying, and that is primarily because in last December there was a partial restriction on ethanol production from juice and B heavy. And what has actually resulted from that we will be having almost 84-85 lakh tons on 30th of September, which is normally 55 lakh tons, which normally the government recommends to keep. So what has really happened because of the extra stock and also a reasonably good production in 24-25, the prices have actually not moved. So it is slightly subdued. And with new crushing season coming, starting very soon, and as I said, a good production year, I don't see the price moving up from here much in next 6 months, at least the domestic price, unless there is some drastic measures taken.
Okay. And Prashant, before we let you go, a two-part question. Firstly, do you expect government to start allowing exports? And secondly, if there's an ethanol price hike, which are the companies that would benefit the most and as per your estimates?
So government has, over the last 3-4 months, they have given mixed views with regard to export. The last comment was that they may err on the side of caution and rather not allow export as of now. But I still think that there is a headroom for 1 to 2 million tons of export from here, which will create some sort of a balance also for the domestic market and fetch but stable realization for the sugar companies. So there is a possibility of 1 to 2 million tons of export, but at the end of the day, it is a government call. And on the sugar stocks, I think whosoever are the ethanol manufacturers will benefit from this. Especially, I would say that the companies which have come out with the new syrup or cane juice facility in the last 15 to 18 months, they have not been able to utilize their asset fully. Now, with full scale ethanol blending and likely expectation of price hike on juice ethanol as well, I think the operating leverage benefit will also drive margins for them apart from the price increase in ethanol. So all the manufacturers who are manufacturing ethanol, especially the ones who have come up with a capacity recently for juice ethanol, I think would be benefiting the most.
Any specific recommendations in terms of stocks and target prices, Prashant?
So we have Balrampur under coverage. So I think Balrampur would be a beneficiary of it because they have come up with a facility in Mazapur, which is a dual feed facility running on juice as well as grains. I think for that asset, it has been they have not yet got a chance to sweat that asset fully. So I think they would be among the beneficiaries in the listed space and within our coverage universe.
Rampur is one of those beneficiaries as well as per Prashant. But Deepak wanted your take regarding the fact that the government has come up with quite a few relaxations over the last few months, whether it's about usage of ethanol, etc. What's your expectation of export opportunity?
Export opportunity, we have been always asking. Yesterday also we had a discussion on this. As I just said, we will be closing the season with almost 84 lakh tons. And the next season, we are estimating around 33.3 million tons with an upward bias. So we are going to see a very high sugar production. And considering that we will have around 29 million tons as our domestic consumption and around 4.5 million tons of diversion, we still have sufficient sugar in the stock. And considering that the international prices are much better today, if you see the current market because of the happenings in Brazil, the global prices are very good. So I believe this is the very right time to allow at least 1 million of goods, and then perhaps after a couple of months it could be 1 million more.
As well as Prashant, thanks so much for stopping by and talking to us about what's happening in the sugar sector. For now, all the stocks are on fire. But with that, we're completely out of time on this edition of Markets at Noon. From the entire team who put this show together, thank you so much for tuning in.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.